You can referee better than me? Show me. I am a referee instructor. So I teach other referees how to referee. Calls. The rules. How to deal with conflict. Etc. Often I hear commentary on the calls. As all referees do. So I decided to take matters into my own hands once at a local tournament. A dad was complaining about my calls. And I had gotten to the point where I'd had enough. He yelled, "I can referee better than that." I waited until the match with his daughter was over. And I announced to the rest of the competitors in my pool that this dad had graciously offered to not only give me a break, but show me the finer points about the mistakes I was making. I handed him the remote he needed, placed the competitors for him, and then placed him where he needed to be. He was white as a sheet and looked like he was going to vomit. He looked at the remote, looked at me, and said, "I don't know how to do this." I smiled, took the remote, and he sat down. He was quiet for the rest of the day. I knew a referee once who started to take his jersey off mid-match. Talking to a player. "You seem to think you're a better referee than me. I know for a fact I'm still a better player than you. Let's swap." Lovely silence for the rest of the match. I used to help coach my kids' soccer teams. Once had one of those dads screaming at me from the sidelines about what a piss-poor job I was doing coaching. I turned to him, held out my clipboard, and called out loudly, "You volunteering to take over the team? Our practices are on Tuesdays." Didn't hear another word from him. I have pretty much the same story. But my wannabe Little League umpire was a mom that rode me for 5 innings. Top of the 6th. Go get her. Bring her out. Set her up and said, "You get to umpire for this inning." She toughed it out. No real hard calls to make. But she was super happy to get off the field. From that point on she was very quiet in the stands about calls. If another parent would start with the chirps she would shut them down. I umpired rec league softball for a few seasons. I actually had to throw a guy out from the stands for making threats against one of the players on the opposing team. A female player. She robbed his wife of a hit in what was a pretty good play. And he wasn't having it. Swore she scooped it and the ball had hit the ground. Even though the play happened 10 feet in front of me. And I had the perfect angle to see she definitely caught it. When she kinda waved her hand in his direction. As if to say, whatever. He went ballistic. Making threats and talking a ton of shit. I tossed him. And the field supervisor walked him to his car. When the game ended, he was still there. So not only did her team walk her to her car, his wife's team did as well. One of the players blocked his car in so he couldn't back out. And made sure the other player got away safely. The guy's wife screamed at him for a half hour. We could hear it on the field during the next game. And from what I understand, went home with one of the other women on the team. We never saw him at the field again, though his wife kept playing every week. Doesn't even matter what the sport is. Still a nice teachable moment for the dad. Some people just need to be put on the spot like this. Good job. During my end-of-year university holidays, I used to volunteer at a local little athletics, where my younger siblings still participated. After a while, they gave me the job to officiate the long jump. And even though it seems as simple as marking where a person lands, it is more complicated than that. Nigel Owens, a refereeing legend. https://u2.be/yf3indiecgu. Lovely. I can't work out what sport requires a remote and players being placed. Maybe indoor netball? I see in another comment this is fencing. I want to compliment you on your story being short, sweet, and to the point. I umpire Adult City League softball. One night the first baseman was overreacting anytime I called ball on his pitcher. It was, "Come on," or, "That was a strike." One time he said, "Your strike zone is terrible." Quote, I didn't say anything. His first time up to bat. The first pitch was a good foot outside. Strike. He turned and gave me this look of sheer disbelief. I shrugged and said, "What? You told me my strike zone was terrible." He didn't say a thing and was quiet the rest of the game. Anytime a player wants to tell me how bad the call was, I just tell them we are looking for more umpires if they think they can do better. I love everything about this. I used to referee and hated when parents blamed the officials. I still hate when people blame officials. I love telling people that they can always be a referee if they think they could do better. Not many people like that response. My son was in a youth basketball league that required parents to volunteer for coaching and referee roles. At the time I was also a race official for bicycle racing and raced frequently, so I was in very shape. The lead official was a NFL referee who was also a trainer, so we got good instruction, and because it was a learning league, we typically focused on just a few rules each week to help develop player skills and awareness. Those kids ran my ass off. Even with 5 to 9-year-olds. The game moved so quickly that if you had to think about making a call, it was too late as the game had already moved. Lesson for me. Be humble and grateful. It's a difficult job and it takes lots of experience to call a game well, and even then you will miss things. When I was in high school I used to referee rec league 2nd and 3rd grade basketball. They paid us like $12 per game and they were coached by volunteer parents. I have never been screamed at so much in my life. These kids didn't even understand the game and would just kind of chase around whoever was dribbling the ball. Being that they were so young, we were instructed to be very loose with our calls. Basically, as long as they weren't running with the ball or tackling other kids, we were supposed to swallow our whistles. Had one mom actually run onto the court mid-game screaming at me and the other guy that we missed a foul against her son, who had actually committed the foul by trying to steal the ball, and they knocked heads and was crying. I will never officiate a sport again. Parents are the absolute worst. I will say if I ever have a kid I will sit and watch silently. So it did teach me something. Why does this remind me so much of when I used to referee fencing matches? I have previously red-carded said parents. What a fucking idiot. Hate people like that who think they can do stuff better than you. Parents are the absolute worst. My kid plays football, soccer in a little league and it's very well organized. The coach said that he wouldn't tolerate interference. Parents shouting instructions to players. Because the goal was to learn out to play the game, not to win every game. Some parents missed the memo and would mix up cheering with shouting instructions. The coach went to us and said this was disturbing the players and they were confused with the instructions. The parents continued and continued with their instructions. Things like move up, kick the ball, get back, get in, on your left, and etc. The coach had enough and actually instructed the players to follow the parents' instructions, but not one of them. The whole team. So if a parent would shout, move up, the whole team would move up. If a parent shouted, left, the whole team would move left. It lasted for about 10 minutes and finally the parents realized what was going on and shut their mouths. We didn't have anyone shouting after that. Also fencing referee. Fuck those people LMAO, this shit ain't easy. Many years ago while I was in the US military, one of my children was playing youth soccer, football to most of the world, on base. An incident occurred at one of the youth games involving a belligerent parent. The parent started with being very vocal about how a referee got a call wrong, involving his little angel who was very obviously the best player on the field. When the child was carded for some reason, which I don't recall, the parent in question began threatening the referee. The coach of his child's team attempted to calm the parent, who then hit him in the face. Base law enforcement was called. The parent, who was military, was escorted away from the game, being he was military and on a military base. I'm sure his commander had plenty to say to him. This incident happened on a Saturday morning. The following Monday, memos were sent out from the base commander's office to every organization on the base. From that point on, if any parent caused a scene or acted inappropriately at any youth activity, all parents would be banned from all youth activities for 1 year.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.